Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Bowden. This is Falls Creek Flips. Lovely to have you along tonight. I thought I'd do something a little bit different tonight. Just kind of thought I'd throw things up a little bit, and I wanted to have a chat about hats. Hats are one of my favourite things. I love collecting them. I'll take you for a little walk over here. I love collecting hats. Like, these are all my own hats that I've got to move inside. Lots of Formula One. This was from Uncle Wayno. Lots of other hats. But I wanted to have a chat to people about hats because I've been picking up a lot recently, especially coming into summer. I think last time I got sent out the my store report that I was, I think, like third in Australia or second in Australia for used hat sales. So I just wanted to have a bit of a chat about what sort of hats I look for. I'm going to take you through some hats I picked up from some markets locally. And then, I'll show you some different hats and have a chat about them and why I've picked them up and the different sort of hats that I like to pick up. So I'm just going to pop you guys down for a second and then I'll bring you back and I will have some hats out on the table here. These are the bags and you'll be able to see what we've got. So, won't be a second, guys. Alright guys, so these are the hats that I want to have a bit of a chat about. This is just the recent pickup, and then I'll go further through sort of what I look at in hats. So we're going to start from this side. All from the one vendor. He said he's got more. These are from two different times I've gone to see him at some local markets. He has told me he's got a stack of vintage shirts, but at this stage hasn't let me see them. But I'll go through these ones first. So I didn't pick up all of his hats. I left quite a few of them. A lot of them are worthless, but these are the ones that I've grabbed. A lot of them need cleaning, but you'll see why I've grabbed them. So first of all here, Baldy's Tackle, Newport Beach, California. Very nice, cool. You've got your corduroy first of all. You've got your rope at the front. A really cool embroidered graphic, and then it is made in USA. So that's something you want to look for. You want to look at the interior of the hats and also your clasp. So long as your clasp is nice and clean, your button's nice and clean, you're good. Here's a cool, like nylon-y sort of style Aussie 80s, 90s Tasmania hat. Very cool. And Kingston Grange, made in Taiwan. So nice 100% nylon, made in Taiwan. Good and old school. Again, another just straight corduroy hat with an interesting pattern on it. This is made in China, I think, from memory. So 100% cotton. Yeah, made in China, but it is vintage. It's still got a good button. You'll see there's a little bit of wear on that button there, but the tip is good, and with a good soaking, that'll come up nice. New Zealand here, same thing. Love these corduroy hats. They're super in at the moment. And again, nice old vintage. Got no label as to where it was made. Interesting little plastic clasp. So it's actually got a lock piece here in the middle that you slide up and down to lock and unlock, and then you can adjust that accordingly along the hat, as you'll see there. So it's got a bit of a rail. We've got the American Action Gear Death Valley National Park. So made in Taiwan, ROC. Doesn't mean it's a little bit more modern, but still a really cool topic, Death Valley, and love the tartan underneath. And then Silstar, this is just a nice little vintage. It does have some damage to the button there, so I'm hoping that when I soak it, I can get that out and give just around there a little bit of cleanup. There is a little bit of rust damage there. But again, nice, cool Silstar vintage hat. The next lot of hats here are a bunch of racing and automotive. So Ford Performance Racing, nothing special about that. Needs a good clean, good wash, but that'll come up nice. Bathurst hat, this can go on any time of year and it'll just sell when it feels like 2014. We've got HSV. This will go a little bit higher now because this is the last year that Holden are racing, and then we move out of Holden. This is really cool. So this is a Honda Formula One hat. This is from the previous iteration of Honda being in Formula One, so not the most current. So that would have been probably when they were with McLaren, I would assume, maybe even earlier. I'll have to do a little bit more research on that one. Two little Shell Helix Racings. So Dick Johnson, he's now finishing up with that team. We've got a little Chevy hat there. This is pretty cool. The old school vintage Shell Sport. That is a very cool hat. You'll see made in Taiwan on there. And one of the best things about this, if you ever find a hat that has foam in it, always make sure your foam is still in there, not peeling. So I won't wash this hat, just because I don't want to damage the foam in there, but that is a really, really nice hat. Little Komatsu, Alan Jones you'll see on the side just there, so a little Pertec Komatsu. Another really cool corduroy Shell Oils motorcycle there. This is one I picked up just today, made in Taiwan there again, and then another little Chevy piece. Then move on to this. This is one of the nicest hats that I've got in this lot here. So this Movie World, sorry, the camera's getting all over the shop here. Got to hold my camera better. All right, Movie World on the Gold Coast. Really, really sick corduroy hat. And you'll see there 1991. So absolutely brilliant. This is where you can say, like, even though it says made in China, this hat is still 30 years old. And that label there just tells us straight up that that's 30 years old. So don't always take made in China as not being vintage. There are a lot of vintage things that were made in China. Here again, corduroy Triple M, just needs a little bit of a clean on the brim there. But again, really nice hat, made in China, nice vintage, good quality. I then picked up 3 of these O&E hats. Really cool, 90s like acid wash style. So they'll go really well. I'm a little bit frustrated. I got to his store today just as there was another couple picking up a very, very sick Billabong corduroy hat. So I missed out on that one, but I've got this Billabong denim. It is vintage, which is cool, but just a really, really cool thing, and that'll sell for good money. This is the most expensive hat of the lot. Probably this would be about $100 hat, this one here, this Brisbane Broncos corduroy. You'll see it does have approved by the New South Wales. It is Australia, Lutz Australia, but made in China. Damn little gnats. But yeah, does have a little bit of marking inside, but you expect that for something that's probably been well loved. But a good soak will clean that up really well. And then I saw this one. I didn't give it a good look over, this Nike Air. This probably would have been the most expensive if I had a look over it. It is very much from the White Men Can't Jump, so early 90s era. That's what that screams to me 100%. But look at the damage to that button. So sadly, that one's going to have to go back. But really, really cool. Again, made in Taiwan. Just everything you want to see except for the rust on that button. So guys, that's what we picked up. It was a really, really cool haul. I picked all of them up for about $2 per hat. Like I say, gonna make my money back on like one hat, which is that Broncos hat, which when I put it up will sell super fast. Probably that Billabong denim hat will go really well, and some of the other corduroy vintage hats as well. So that's one of the first things I want to say. When you're out looking around, look for corduroy. This stuff like just moves so well. It's in at the moment. It's the style. It's just what people are after. And then like keep an eye out, like that 90s, like early 90s to early 2000s. We're going to see that sort of style coming back in. You're seeing a lot of the high, all of that sort of style of, you know, the early Britney Spears and all that sort of gear is coming in. And a little bit before that, like New Kids on the Block, we're in that range back again of retro style. So guys, I'm going to come back in a second. I'm going to have some other pieces here that I want to have a chat to you about. And I'll go through what I look for in hats. Okay, guys, so here is a little bit of a range of hats. And I want to go through them and explain a little bit about what I look for in a hat when I'm out thrifting or going to, you know, a private pick, etc. So we'll start over here. The first thing I look for is sporting hats. That's just a given. A lot of Aussie sporting hats are like ISC or just NRL branded. What's this one? A-League official. They're pretty basic kind of hats. You then move to your American hats, like this one, Toronto Blue Jays. This is a New Era. You've got Adidas here, and I think we've got a 47. The other big brand to sort of look for, Adidas don't do a heap. Brooklyn Nets are a little bit of a different one, but you've got New Era, 47, and you've got Mitchell and Ness. They're your 3 big brands that you're going to be looking for, okay? But you want to try and find them with nice logos, clean, just simple sort of things that people are going to grasp. You always want to make sure that you check your labels. You want to make sure they're legit, that they are official. And you really do need to check these sort of things and get to know them. You can find a lot of people ripping off New Era. So get to know what those proper ones look like, what you're looking for in these inner bands, what you're looking for in regards to your stripe down here, your holographic, all that sort of stuff, because that's what you're looking for. Now, out of these, you also want to try, where possible, and find hats that are snapbacks. Snapbacks are always the most desirable. They are easy to, readjust. I then find that the fitted caps come second, and then thirdly, your alternates. So whether that's a hook and loop or some of the other options that are out there, they are the main ones that I find. So always try and find snapbacks, but just see what you can find. Like I say, with Aussie stuff, you want to look for things like this. You want to find stuff that is dead stock. So here we have Rugby 2011. That's obviously Australia team hat. So really nice, really good cap there to find, because that's new with tags. It is dead stock, but that's what we love to see. This is just a clean 2020 members hat. That's the next thing you want to be looking for, is members hats. I find members hats sell better than just straight team hats. So here you'll see this one's an ISC. ISC is just a well-used brand in Australia. But that's the kind of thing you're looking for. You are looking for members hats. They always seem to sell quicker, faster, and better than the individual team hats. And then obviously you want to look for the most recent. So this is the most recent Sydney FC branding. And so that's why we picked this one up. It's a good hat. It is hook and loop with the little wrap around there. But that's what you want to be looking for. Next up, we look for tool brands. I love tool brands. They always go really well. Guys, tradies, etc., they bust through hats like there's no tomorrow. So this Komatsu here, great one. Trucker hat. It's in relatively good nick. It's not going to sell for a heap of money. It'll probably sell for about $20 to $30. But with free shipping, that's not too bad. And then these AEG power tools. Again, AEG, great brand. It is a snapback. It's in really good nick. And that'll sell too. Whether it's a builder or someone, handyman, whatever. Next thing to look out for, guys, is your alcohol brands. You want good, clean merchandise. A lot of this stuff is given to pubs, clubs, and other stores as promotional gear. And a lot of people miss out on them. They wanted to win it, whatever. Their mate's got one, etc. Whatever it might be, and they want them. So just keep an eye out for them. Do be aware that some alcohol brands and stuff do sell hats through some of the servo chains. So just be aware, if you're ever going to fill up, have a look at the hats and stuff they've got in the servo. Get to know what's in there, so you don't go out and pick up a hat that you think, oh great, I'm picking up for $2, I can sell it for $30, but it's selling for $10 down at the local servo. Then we look for good brands. So Ping, golfing brands are great. This one's a bit dirty, it needs a cleanup, but Ping is a really, really good golfing brand. So this should sell for 20 to 30 again. If it was in perfect nick, like almost brand new, I'd be expecting 40 for it. That's kind of what I get for my Titleist and Ping hats when they're clean and new. So really good. Nike hats are great. Branded Nike, and especially these lightweight dry fit training hats. These are great. Really good quality. Always great to find, so keep an eye out for that. Same goes with Adidas and that. And then things like Carhartt and other brands. I don't pick up a lot of Aussie like surf brands and that sort of stuff. I don't find they move well. I find this too much. But something like Carhartt, that's not a big brand we find over here, that one's going to do really well for me. So I'm happy to have that. The next thing I love to find and always keep a lookout for is military base. So anything about the military always seems to sell well. Normally, if they are allocated to a specific group, you might find it takes a little bit longer to sell. But if you can just find something that's like RAF or Navy or whatever, and something a little bit different than what you normally see, like US Air Force, that's just a killer hat right there. I'm not going to see a lot of them, but it is a very nice hat with their modern logo as well. That's their current logo. They have changed it over the years, but that is just a killer hat. And that one with the fighter wing, 81 Squadron fighter wing, not bad. It'll take a little while to sell. And then last but not least, I love vintage hats. They are some of the ones that just absolutely get me excited when I find a good vintage hat. So I grabbed this one because you guys know I love Olympics. And this is, I don't actually think, yeah, so this is AOC 1997. So this was made prior to the 2000 Olympics. It is made in China, but really, really nice. I think this was given out in Sydney prior to the Olympics from memory, where Westpac Bank was on George Street there, from memory. Just Dad used to work up in Sydney at that stage, so I'm just having recollections of that. But really cool one to find. So they're the kind of hats that I go looking for, guys, and I'd highly recommend you look for those sorts of hats. Look for the American sporting hats. Look for teams that maybe you don't see all the time. Oakland Raiders and Bulls hats, you know, Chicago Bulls hats, see them all the time. Well, not Oakland Raiders, I should say LA Raiders. Yeah, always find them. So I don't always look for them, but here we've got the New England Patriots, Toronto Blue Jays, and Brooklyn Nets. 3 great brands to grab. You know, Ben Simmons is on the Brooklyn Nets along with Patty Mills. So a lot of Aussie love for the Brooklyn Nets at the moment. So that hat won't last long once I get it listed. And Toronto Blue Jays, anything baseball seems to go pretty well because we don't get a lot of it out here. You know, you can see that there's been some serious love for this hat. You can see the discoloration, but that should still move nicely. Looking for the Aussie brands, like I say, follow that, and then just, you know, you want to find good clean hats. That's the real thing about it. Vintage hats, you're not always going to find, you're not always going to be able to tell they're vintage, but that's what you want to be looking for, guys. So I hope that's been helpful. If you've got any other questions regarding hats, just drop it down below. Send me a message on Instagram. I'd love to be able to help you out, give you some assistance. But guys, I really, really thank you for viewing the channel, for being here for today's episode. Just remember, we're always available for a chat. Drop us a line if you need any help. I do try and get on some of those Facebook groups and stuff to just share information where possible, because I think that's important. Other people did it for me and I'm trying to give it back. But most of all, guys, just keep flipping.